The Auditory Project is a region-wide writing residency programme, and we've been placing professional writers in various different settings, community settings, care homes, hospitals, and helping older people to engage with creative writing with the hope of eliminating feelings of loneliness and isolation and making them feel happy and stronger sense of well-being. The workshops are really wide-ranging and very different because the different residencies are all in different host settings. We place a lead writer with a shadow writer for support, and the really important and nice thing about this is that the older people themselves are able to shape the project. And we've had a lot of really fantastic outputs. We've had 2 professionally published anthologies, which are excellent but very different from each other. We've had poetry sharing, CDs, poetry postcards as well. It's been really nice to see different people's ideas, and the groups have really fed into that process, and that's also important because it's given them a sense of ownership and pride within their work.
And one of the things I found really interesting about the project was the receptiveness to creative writing and how that changed throughout, seeing each person grow in confidence and own their stories, and interestingly remember a bit more of their story each week, and they'd want to go back and tell it. So they'd been thinking about these things, thinking about a sharing of something that they'd forgot about, and actually wanting to add another layer. Some amazing stories.
It just bringing all them lovely memories that we could capture in the book. I think it was fantastic experience having someone professional being able to guide them, because now they see each other as friends and family. So it was just lovely to see all them growing and building that friendship relationship together.
When we did the museum visit, which we did as part of this project, Eva, who often just sits with her head down and you're not sure how engaged she is, once we were actually in the different environment of the museum, she was so engaged. She's physically changed. She sat up, she was looking around and interested at everything.
Creative activity at any stage of our life is incredibly important, but especially I would say for people that are feeling isolated or lonely or perhaps a bit low, because it helps you feel more connected with other people. And we've had people in care homes that have lived together for years and have even eaten at the same table for years, and they've found new things about each other, even to the point where they worked in the same place and they didn't know about that. And that all comes out through the creative process and the sharings.
I've enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed all the reminiscing that we did.
Well, I think you learn something. I mean, you're never too old to learn something new, are you?
We've had a fantastic group of people working with us. They've been so enthusiastic. The outcomes we've got from following the stories and the memories of the residents is the Gregory book, which we produced at the end.
I was quite surprised at the finished book. Exciting. Never been published before.
Well, I begin to feel a bit important. Not that I am, but...
Definitely for us it's bring on part 2, Gregory House, and we want to do it more and more often.
Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I've worked with my shadow writer Asmadar for 10 sessions at Sandalwood Court Care Home in Corby, and we've worked specifically with a group of residents who are on the dementia spectrum but are able to benefit from a writing project like this.
Well, having the writers in, it means that residents have actually expressed themselves. It's encouraging the residents to share their views, share their ideas, but also listen to other views and other ideas at the same time, because it keeps their mind stimulated. It makes them think.
There's been some very emotional moments. You give a little and you get an awful lot back in projects like this, and being able to have an insight into their world, and not just their objective world, being residents at Sandalwood, but their inner world, and in particular their imaginations.
I think that creative activity is really important in these settings because it reminds us of the people behind the stories, the person behind an illness like dementia. Creativity is creative thinking as well. It takes you out of the everyday. So I would say it's incredibly important.